What's up, everyone? This is Bill with BLRTUNING. Today we are out here with the Teryx 5H2. Obviously this is the Deluxe ES model, and today we're going to be looking at the Dynojet PV3. So the PV3 is an ECU flash tuning device. It allows us to be able to tune these vehicles. Okay, it's always going to come with instructions when you order through our website. And then, of course, you will get some stickers and business cards from us, as well as some Dynojet decals in here as well. So you got a couple Dynojet decals in there. You have a USB cable, and then you do have your data cable for your PV3. Okay, so I'm going to show you everything about it and walk you through it. We're going to be mounting it up on the dashboard, and we're going to be using one of our PV3 case mounts. So this is PV3 case mount by BLRTUNING, made right here in the USA. It does have a aluminum mount on the back that allows you to have any kind of action camera, GoPro style mount. And then this is our body panel mount. So that's what we will be using up on the dashboard, just like that. Your PV3 snaps in there, gets bolted in place. There's enough room for the cable and enough room for a USB cable, so you don't have to remove it from the vehicle to do any kind of tuning or plug into it. And it makes it a lot safer. It can't just fall out of there or anything. It's bolted in. Okay, so let's take a look at the PV3 and go over everything. Okay, so the PV3 is this device here. It does have physical buttons. They got a nice rubber texture to them. It will have a LCD display. You can see there, USB cable plugs in here. You will always get a USB cable in the box to plug into your laptop or computer. Okay, so it plugs in with this plug here down by the gas pedal, and then this little 4-pin CAN connector. That is going to be for a belt temp kit or wideband. Okay, so we'll go over that stuff later on as it becomes available to us. But for now, we're just going to be plugging in the PV3. The first thing we need to do in these vehicles specifically is, because it has this GARMIN infotainment center in here, since this system is connected to the vehicle, we don't want it to get unpaired from the vehicle or anything like that while we're tuning. So before we hit read ECU or flash a tune to the vehicle or anything like that, we need to remove the GARMIN system. If your vehicle isn't equipped with the GARMIN system, you don't need to worry about this step, but you do have to remove it. So when you lift that glove box up there, all you're doing is pulling back here and here. You might think you're going to break it. You're not. Just reach your finger back behind here. It's designed to come out. Tip this straight back and up. Okay, so we'll get that off. And then back behind here, you can see this is a plunger. There it goes. And now your GARMIN system comes out. Okay, that has to be removed just like that. One thing that is really important to note is that while you can set up custom gauges and have your PV3 mounted up above the dashboard or wherever you choose to in the vehicle, and you can utilize one of our PV3 cases when you do it, you cannot have the GARMIN display installed while the PV3 is plugged in. So it's an unfortunate chain of events, but the GARMIN display is what helps control the suspension. So all your active suspension controls on here, you know, if you have the deluxe models that have the active suspension with this GARMIN display, the GARMIN display is what is helping control, using its accelerometers and stuff like that and its gyro to help control the suspension and monitor what the suspension is doing. So I'll put a screenshot up here on the screen in the video. This is what happens if you have the PV3 plugged in and the GARMIN display plugged in at any time. Okay, we'll throw a code. It will say suspension error. It'll say the KECS error. Again, I'll put that up on the display there. It'll say KECS error. It'll start flashing. You won't have control over your suspension. And in this little window right here, this will all be empty basically. I'll put that up on the display as well. I have a little screenshot of that. and then it will throw a code. I'll put a screenshot of the code up there as well so you guys can see that. So what that means is the Garmin is talking to the car, and when you try to plug in the PV3 is also trying to talk to the car. It messes up everything. So you can't do that. If you do happen to do it, and you get the error, shut the vehicle down, unplug the PV3, let it sit for 2 minutes, plug it back in, everything will come back on and be fine. You can also remove the Garmin, and on the back of the Garmin there's a power button. Shut the power off on the Garmin, let it sit for 2 minutes, power it back on, okay? So you can see here, no codes, everything is working fine. That's because we unplugged the PV3. Okay, so that is unfortunate, but I get it. The Garmin's trying to talk to everything. So if you want to use the PV3 for recording live data and that kind of stuff, or for monitoring live data like your battery voltage, your coolant temperature, all that stuff, like the gauges I showed how to set up, you have to have the Garmin removed. Garmin's got to be unplugged. Okay, if you plug in the Garmin and the PV3 at the same time and have the vehicle running, eventually it'll throw that suspension code. Hopefully a firmware update fixes that or something, who knows, and we'll update when that happens. But for right now, they cannot be plugged in at the same time. If your vehicle doesn't have the Garmin system in it, like the Teryx 4H2, the base model one, then you don't got to worry about that. You can run the PV3 full time and you'll be fine. But anyway, I wanted to throw this clip in there because we found this all out after the fact and we haven't edited the video yet. So I wanted to throw that in there and make sure you guys understand you cannot run both at the same time. Okay, and always keep in mind, PV3 and PV4 devices, they don't have to live on the vehicle. If you flash a tune to the vehicle, you can remove that device, put it away for safekeeping. Just keep that in mind, okay? So now let's go over here to the diagnostics port under the steering column down by the foot pedal, and I'll show you right there where that's at, and we'll plug in and we'll get started. So now we're at the left side of the vehicle. Underneath the driver column here, there's your brake pedal, gas pedal. You look right there, that white plug hanging down that has a cap on it, that is your diagnostics port. There's a little tab in the back. If you lift up, just lift it up, she'll come off there. There we go, that's what it looks like. It's got a little rubber seal inside there. That is our diagnostics port. That is what our PV3 is needing to plug into. So now you can figure out how you're going to run your wiring, if you're going to run it up through the dash or under the dash, however you want to go about it, depending on where you're going to mount it. Okay, so what we did was we ran the wire right through here and back, straight back at an angle towards the center of the dash. And you can see we have it plugged in, it's out of the way. So you can just feed it through there, you don't got to drill any holes. So now we have our PV3 plugged in, okay? And we're going to turn the key on. PV3 should power up. And you can rotate the screen in the settings. So now we're gonna make sure we click this button and get out of the safety. Okay, you can rotate the PV3 in the settings. So if you're gonna mount it and you end up mounting it upside down, you can just rotate it. So it says no compatible stock files. So we have to read the ECU. An ECU read is required. Press enter to read ECU. So remember, we're in neutral, e-brake is on, power is on, we are out of safety mode, so we can see our dashboard. This can take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so, and remember that infotainment center has to be disconnected. Don't do this with it connected. Okay, hit enter to read ECU. ECU read may take a while. Do not turn off power. Okay, we're gonna let it sit here and do its thing until it's 100% complete. It will tell you when it's completed. There may be tunes on here for you already from Dynojet directly. So Dynojet usually has a couple free tunes that you can download from the Dynojet website or included on the device. It just, a lot of it depends on what ECU your vehicle has. If your vehicle has an ECU that they've never seen before, it's possible there may not be a tune for it. But we'll find that out here together and see if there is a free tune on here once we read this ECU and it knows what the stock factory tune is. And then, of course, you can order through BLRTUNING. Just go to blrtuning.co or click on the link below in the description, and you can order it with a custom tune. When you do that, you'll need to do your read ECU, and then you'll bring it to a Windows computer or laptop, plug it in, it'll act like a thumb drive. You need to send us the PV info file. That'll be inside a folder called PV info. That file shows us the ECU you have and all the information about it and all the information about your PV3. And then we need to have a copy of your stock factory tune. That'll be the file that ends with STK on here when it's plugged into the vehicle. So the best way to do it is to snap a photo of the STK file when it shows up here, take it to the computer, make sure you're grabbing that file. It'll usually be a series of numbers and letters. Okay, but we need a copy of the STK file and the info file, and then we will build your custom tune and email it back to you. If you already own a PV3 or PV4 device for any vehicle, we can build you a custom tune, and you can just reach out to us. It's blrtuning.tech@gmail.com. Okay, so we'll come back when this is completed. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, one thing to keep in mind while you're reading the ECU or while you're flashing a tune, don't push any buttons in the vehicle. Let it sit here and do its thing. If the display pop turns off on you, just let it keep going. It'll keep continuing to do what it's doing. As long as you don't turn that key off, you'll be fine. If you turn the key off, you're starting over. Okay, so don't push any buttons. Let it sit here. This is on a timer. It's going to power down. The PV3 is going to keep going. Okay, we'll come back and we'll show you that when it happens. I just wanted to come back and show you guys this. It's at 70%. We'll see that it's still reading the ECU. Vehicle power is powered on still at the key, but the dashboard turned off. The dashboard is on a timer. It's still reading the ECU just fine. Okay, it'll be the same thing when you're flashing a tune. Don't turn the key off, turn it back on. Don't push any buttons. Don't worry about it. It's okay that the screen and everything powered down. You'll probably hear some clicking from the back near the motor. Don't worry about that. Just let it sit here and do its thing. Don't push any buttons. Don't interrupt it. Okay, we'll come back here in a minute. Okay, so our read ECU just completed. It says read complete, and then it says STK saved, and it tells us what our stock factory tune actually is. 211752136.stk. So now the PV3 has the stock factory tune file stored on itself. We can bring that to a Windows computer or laptop, and we can save it onto the computer. Just make a file folder that says, you know, H2 tunes or whatever you want to do, and save your stock tune so you have a copy of it. But it will always store it on here. It'll always be able to revert itself back to stock, so you can always flash back to stock. So we can press the back arrow to return. All required files found. Press this to select a tune, and you can see there that DJT file. Okay, that is a Dynojet tune file. Any aftermarket tune other than stock will always end with DJT. That file there is on the device already, so that is a free tune from Dynojet. We can click enter, and we can read through the descriptions and see what all has been done. Altered fueling, altered timing, altered fan engagement temps, altered DBW, that's the drive-by-wire tables, 100 RPM rev limit, so they've added 100 RPM over stock. Okay, so ultimately, you're going to make some more horsepower and torque if you add that. Now keep in mind that is also for stock parts. So if you've done exhaust, high flow air filter, intake system, stuff like that, you're going to need a custom tune made no matter what. Okay, so we can select that. If we hit enter, it says press enter to flash. So now we can press enter and we can flash this tune. Or if we ordered with a custom tune for the BLRTUNING, now is the time where we will shut everything down by shutting the key off. So we can hit the back arrow and go home. I'll show you guys how this works. The key is off. We can now remove and unplug the PV3 and bring it to a Windows computer or laptop. Or we can just pop this little rubber tab out here, and we have access to the USB port right there. Okay, so now is the time when you would send the stock tune and the info file over to BLRTUNING, and then they will build you a custom tune and we will send it out to you. Okay, so we'll come back here, we'll get a tune flash to it, and then we will show you what it looks like to set up the gauges and that type of stuff, and what our mounting system looks like. Okay, so when you do go into where it says flash tune, You can get there through the settings, or when it takes you to that screen where it says flash tune, it is going to tell you for the first time, pair this PV3 to connected vehicle. So we're going to pair the PV3 up, delete incompatible stock and DJT files. So you'll hit the big button to say enter, or the back arrow to say yes. Okay, once you've done that, it'll say ECU write may take a while, do not turn off power. Okay, and then press enter to continue. Okay, preparing, loading, erasing. So you're going to see it do all kinds of stuff. You might see your dashboard light up like a Christmas tree. Remember, if power shuts off up here, don't turn the key off. Let it sit here and do its thing. It'll tell you when it's 100% complete. This can take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Another thing to note, when it came to that screen where it said, do you want to erase all stock files and DJT files, something to keep in mind. If you're using a PV3 for multiple vehicles, you would not want to do that, because what it's saying is if there's anything on that PV3 that's not for this vehicle, it's going to erase it. Okay, so if you're using this PV3 for multiple vehicles, and you can always add as many vehicles as you like, then you wouldn't want to do that, because you're going to delete everything for your other vehicle. When I say you can use this for as many vehicles as you like, you have to buy a tune license. You have to go to the Dynojet website, buy a tune license to add a second vehicle. So we can add another vehicle to this device. We can add 4, 5, 6 vehicles to this device if we want to. But we have to buy a license for each vehicle. When you buy a license, it'll be a file that you download and move on to the PV3. Then when you plug into that second vehicle, it's going to say a license file was found. Do you want to pair this license file to this vehicle? You select yes, and now you're using that license for that vehicle. And again, you won't do the cleanup feature when it says, do you want to erase all stock tunes and DJT files that are not for this vehicle? You would not do that in that process, in that scenario. So you can see it's going pretty fast. It says 64%, but we'll let it sit here and do its thing until it's complete, and then we'll come back. Okay, here we are. It says write complete. To verify flash, turn key off, then on. So we will turn it off. We're going to let it sit for 2 minutes. Remember, these ECUs take a little while to shut down. So we turn the key off. We're going to let it sit for 2 minutes. We're going to come back. We're going to turn the key on. Don't turn it on early. Okay, after 2 minutes time, we will come in here, turn on the key. See what she says. Okay, remember you got to click this to get out of the safety. And there you go, it shows you the different channels. Okay, now to verify that the tune is flashed to the vehicle, go back to where it says flash tunes and look for the asterisk in front of the name of the tune file, and that will show you that that is flashed to the vehicle. Once you have an aftermarket tune on here, whether it's from Dynojet or from us here at BLRTUNING, you can then set up channels. So we can now set up gauges. Okay, and remember, if you're messing with this or anything like that, at any time, if this display shuts off, just keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. It's not going to power down until you turn that key off. Okay, so we can set up gauges. So now we can go to vehicle tools. We can look through all the settings, diagnostics, read ECU, delete data logs, restore ECU. You can see there. We can go to vehicle info and see all the vehicle info. And remember, if you are driving the vehicle, if you hit this button, you see data log starting. Data log has started. Okay, you see it's red. It's got a timer going. That means there's a data log going. You cannot have the GARMIN display in there while you are data logging. Don't do it. Don't try to do it. Don't accidentally do it. Okay, data log saved. So if you needed to send somebody a data log, remove your GARMIN, go out and run the vehicle, run it from a dead stop to full throttle, and then come and stop your data log, and then send that data log off to whoever you're sending it to, whether it's us or Dynojet, whatever you're sending that data log to. You'll be able to grab it from using a Windows computer or laptop, okay? And then you can go hit enter. That's how you get into here. Vehicle tools. We can go delete data logs. Enter. There's our data log. Deleting the log. There you go. Data log deleted. Okay, now we can go to device tools, configure gauges, device information, reformat disk, settings, update device if it's plugged into a computer, copy backup file, copy recovery file, export diagnostic history. Okay. Remember, we can go in here to Vehicle Tools, Diagnostics, Active Codes, no active codes. Historic codes, no historic codes. Okay, we can clear and reset codes from there as well. Okay, so what we're going to do now, device tools, configure gauges, screen 1, channel 1. The channel is your gauge, okay? Accelerator pedal position. Why not? So this, we can just go that 0.0. You can move the decimal right there. That's what that is. Okay, 0.0 will be fine. Okay, channel 2. You got battery voltage, cylinder 1 duty cycle, tons of stuff that you can set up as a gauge. Okay, engine coolant temperature, engine speed, that'd be like RPM, gear position, injector battery compensation, your injector pulse width, intake air temperature, manifold air pressure, speed density. Let's do power mode. Let's see what that looks like. Channel 3, and it does round robin. None, so if you accidentally set one up and you don't want that to be there. Vehicle speed, tip in, throttle position requested, throttle position, throttle idle offset, power mode. So you see there is tons of stuff that you can set up. Okay, let's go intake air temperature in Fahrenheit. That'll work. And then channel 4. Set it up as battery voltage. Okay, so now when we hit the back arrow and go back home, you can see there we now have our different stuff here. You see when I hit the pedal and release, it went back down to 0. There you go. Intake air temperature, battery voltage. Let's start the vehicle. Okay. This will probably go back down to 0. We'll see how that does. There it goes. Okay, nothing to worry about. It's only a decimal. But you do have your intake air temperature, your battery voltage, your power mode. That is full power, so let's see what happens if I change power. Mid power. Okay, so there's how it's reading power. You can see there. So 2.0 is low, 0 is mid, full is 1. Okay, so just keep in mind how it's reading the power modes, and you can change that to a different gauge if you want. Okay, so let me get this mounted up to the dashboard and show you guys what that looks like. Our Dynojet display is upside down, so we can flip that in the settings. I'll show you guys how to do that. So wait for it to go to there. We hit the big button, and obviously we're upside down right here, but go to device tools, settings, rotate screen, press enter, and there we go. Now our screen's rotated. You can adjust the brightness right here. It's at 75%. It goes up very bright. Okay. And then you can reset settings back to default. Okay, you can see we changed our gauges. We have pedal position, engine coolant temperature, intake air temperature, and battery voltage there. You see how that works. Okay. Okay, so that's working like it should. We can actually change the pedal position right here. We'll go in here and go back down to device tools, configure gauges, and I'll show you what this screen 1, screen 2 is. We'll put something on screen 2 just so you guys can see it. Like we'll go atmospheric air pressure. How about that? Okay, so now, you pick what you want to do. PSI. Okay. Okay, so that is telling you your atmospheric air pressure. Okay, so we go back to screen 1, pedal position, accelerator pedal position. Okay, you'll see that there. Throttle position. We want accelerator pedal position. That is the position of your foot pedal. Okay, accelerator pedal position. Go up here and put no decimal. There we go. Now when we go back, now it's working right. Doesn't show us that decimal. And that is going to be based on percentage. You have engine coolant temperature, battery voltage, intake air temperature. Now if we, from this display right here, if we hit the down arrow, and we only have one gauge set up, you can see there, 14.7. So that is our borrow. So that's how you can set up that. You can just hit the down arrow and set up gauges, and it will split the screen accordingly. So you can see that just has the one gauge right there, because that's what we set up. So pretty cool device, pretty cool the way it works. Again, this is our PV3 case mount. You'll find that on our website as well. It'll work for any Dynojet PV3. Then we do have a protective case for PV4 as well. Okay, you can see here we have our PV3 mounted with one of our PV3 protective cases. This is our PV3 mounting case. It's on our website, BLRTUNING.co. And you see we have built a custom tune, BLRTUNING H2 Boogeyman tune. We can click on it, we can scroll up and down and read through all the notes. 91 to 98 octane, high performance tune, tracker off-road use only, built by BLRTUNING.co. Top speed cap removed, ignition timing and high gear adjusted. DVW, that's the drive-by-wire settings for all modes adjusted. EVAP switch is on. Reverse throttle is unrestricted. Speed density VE and high gear fuel adjusted. Rev limit 9,700 RPM, so that's 200 RPM above stock. And we got rid of the restrictions that are at high RPM. Seatbelt switch is off. That just means you don't have to have the seatbelts plugged in or buckled in order to be able to access high power. That's because if we want to make this vehicle lighter weight, we're going to be taking some of the seats out of it. That's the compatibility number, the build date, Boogeyman. Okay, so this is a custom tune for BLRTuning. You too can have a custom tune for your vehicle. This is all stock parts. If you had parts like exhaust, intake, stuff like that, it would say in here the parts. This doesn't say anything because it is stock parts. Okay, processing, ECU write may take a while, so that's it. We're going to click that to flash the tune. Okay, we're going to sit here and wait. It may show all kinds of codes on the dashboard until it is finished. Don't worry about it. If the display power is off, again, don't touch the key. Leave the key powered on. It is in neutral. The e-brake is on. The Garmin display is removed. Remember, we cannot have the Garmin display and the PV3 plugged in at the same time, ever. So if you got the PV3 plugged in, Garmin display needs to be removed. Okay, they do not play nicely together. It'll throw codes. It'll throw suspension error codes at you. Okay. So we'll wait. We'll come back. I'll show you what it looks like after we get this flashed to the vehicle. Okay, we'll come back here in a few minutes. Remember, don't turn the key off. Let it sit here and do its thing. You can see it powered down, but we are still writing to the ECU. Okay, do not interrupt it. Don't push any buttons, don't do anything. We'll let it sit here and do its thing until it's finished. Okay, it says write complete to verify flash, turn key off, then on. You can see we do have all kinds of codes on the dashboard. Remember, that should all clear itself up as soon as we turn the key off. Power back on. We've got a key cycle. And let's push the little button and get out of that screen. There you go, no codes, no engine codes. Okay, vehicle's running, e-brake off, parking brake works. Okay, again, all of our modes work with our suspension. That's good. Our different power modes. Everything works. Okay, you can see up here. Remember, we do have fan temps lowered, so we are going to see the fans come on earlier and come on more powerful than normal. But that's it. So now we can run it like this if we're data logging and tuning and whatnot. But we need to leave that Garmin display uninstalled. You may get a suspension error while you're doing so. Don't worry about that. It'll go away once you put that Garmin display back in. Okay, so now we're done with the PV3. Like I said, Garmin display out, or if you have the Teryx 4H2, the one that doesn't have this, you can leave this mounted right here with our PV3 protective case, and it does look really sharp up here on the dash. Got plenty of room for your hands, so it does look really good up there. And that's with our body panel mount. Then you can mount it wherever you can get creative. We don't have the wire ran at the moment, but you get the idea. The wire would run behind here. So now we're going to shut it off, power everything down. We're going to put the Garmin display back in. We're going to leave everything powered down for 2 minutes. And then we're going to power it up and just verify that we have no codes and that everything is operating as normal with the PV3 uninstalled from the vehicle. Okay, so I'll do that at this time. I'll come right back here. Okay, Garmin display back in, PV3 unplugged from the diagnostics port. No codes, no engine codes, everything working the way it should. The vehicle is tuned. We're making some more horsepower, some more torque. So this is how it should be, okay? Remember, Garmin display comes out, PV3 gets plugged in. They cannot play together, at least not yet. We will keep you updated if we find a solution to this, but for now, that's how it is. Okay? Anyways, I'm Bill with BLRTUNING. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Huge shout out to Dynojet for sending this out and letting us shoot a little video here on it, on our new Teryx 5H2. Okay, super stoked to do some more testing and show you guys how much jam this thing makes when we get it out in the field. But for now, that's it. Go check us out. It's blrtuning.co. We're one of the #1 Dynojet dealers in the world. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.